Hello guys, welcome back to Codeaamy, a computer coding academy. This channel is mostly dedicated for application development, tutorials, podcast. In today's video, we will be talking about why I shifted to Flutter, and I will also be talking about native application development, cross-platform application development, other frameworks in which we can develop application, and a bit about why Flutter was one of the best choices that I had. So let's get started. Before moving on, if you are new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button and also the bell icon so you will be notified about the new videos which I am posting. Hello guys, my name is Sri Bhagwat and I started my application development journey 5 years ago. I've been developing application for 5 years. I started my journey with Swift and I was creating and I was building application for iOS in native Swift language. I created two applications. One was Facts Fever, in which the user could scroll and get all the facts depending on the criteria he has selected. There were many criteria and also had a quiz section inside the application. The another application was a ping application in which the users were able to chat with one another and also send messages and pictures. It was an encrypted chat application, just like kind of WhatsApp and Telegram. So I created these two applications and they were running very well on App Store. And sooner I realized that most of my friends were having Android devices that time, and very few of my family friends were able to install the application which I built because it was exclusively for iOS, because I built it in Swift. And hence most of my family members and friends said that please develop this application for Android as well. So taking the decision in my hand, I started to learn Kotlin as well to create a native Android application. The logical part was ready, the backend and the server were already ready, so all I had to do was convert the Swift code into Kotlin. And I started developing my application, the chat application and Facts Fever application in Kotlin. And within a month the application was ready and I uploaded it to Play Store. The application was a bit laggy and a bit choppy because most of the things were new to me. Me being familiar with Swift, the UI collection view, the table view, and the parameters which we're using in Swift were kind of bit different, as in Android we have recycler view and there was no storyboard, so I had to create all the components from the scratch. Yes, in Swift also I created component from the scratch, but then a storyboard was a huge helping hand for me for creating applications for iOS. So I noticed one thing, that developing application for Android and then developing application again for iOS or vice versa was a lot of time consuming, and I had to figure out a way where I can reduce this time. Also, if I had to do some changes, I had to do the changes twice, once for iOS in Swift and then again for Android and Kotlin. So it was a lot of time consuming for me. Sooner I had to figure out a way in which I could reduce this. So I started searching from hybrid or cross-platform frameworks and I landed upon React Native. I started with I started with React Native, and within a week I was fed up because it was not my cup of tea. React Native was a bit tedious, it was lengthy, it was not that user friendly. So I went with Flutter. I know you guys know about Flutter, but to the people who don't know what Flutter is, so Flutter is a Google's UI framework toolkit which helps to build beautiful natively compiled application from a single code base. Now, natively compiled application over here means application which will work natively in the platform they're supposed to work. For example, the Flutter application that we create uses Dart language, and then this Dart language gets converted to Swift for iOS and Kotlin for Android. So this language gets compiled natively in the selected platforms, and you can create beautiful natively compiled application from a single code base. Flutter was new in a beta stage and there were not much tutorials present out there as there are right now. The only source I had of Flutter was the Flutter documents provided by the Flutter team, and to my surprise they were quite well written. So yes, it was good. I started learning Flutter on my own about reading documents and watching some videos which were present that time on YouTube. The application development of Flutter was completely different. It was a bit confusing for me because my previous experience with application development was with UI table view and collection views and view did load methods, about Swift, about Kotlin, and once I shifted to Flutter, it was all different. The widgets were new for me, the state management were new for me, rows, columns, stacks, all these were completely new for me. So I had to understand them and I had to learn them. But sooner I realized that this was one of the best decisions which I took. Building application in Flutter helped me in many ways, and that's why I decided to shift my complete development to Flutter. I gave Flutter a week's trial and I realized that the compiling time of application in Flutter was reduced very much. Like the applications were compiling faster in Flutter as compared to Swift or Kotlin. Then I had to just code once, and that once which I will be coding, that code would be converted to Android as well as iPhone. So now I was targeting two platforms at the same time. My time was reduced by half because I had to just code once, and moreover the compile time was reduced even more. The second best feature which I loved about Flutter was hot reload. It helped me to enhance my UI and UX experience, because now the small UI changes which I was doing, I just had to hot reload the application and not wait for the application to complete its and not wait for the application to compile from start to end, which saved even more time. Code reusability. This was another feature which helped me a lot. I was using the code again and again. For example, just creating a button and extracting that button widget and storing it somewhere else, and just calling that simple button widget and recalling it again and again and again helped me in creating my small UI components and using them again, which saved my time. Code maintenance, as I mentioned earlier, I had to write the code again and again. I had to do the changes in both sides, in Swift and then in Kotlin. But once I shifted to Flutter, now to maintain the code, I have to just maintain one single Dart code, and whatever changes I do, those changes will affect on all the platforms which I am supporting. A small scale developer, Flutter saved me. I started taking client projects and I started doing the projects in Flutter, and I started giving the client the best application that they would require. And I know sooner or later the client would require an iOS or the Android application which they opted at first, and my code was already ready. All I had to do was just migrate the application or just compile the application for the other OS and just do some tweaks or do some test cases which help me in generating more profits and excelling my business. That's how I started my application development journey, and right now I have built more than 20 plus applications in Flutter, and so far all of the applications are going and running very smoothly. There is no complaint, and I would actually recommend people to learn Flutter and switch to Flutter. With Flutter, if you want, you can also learn native application building, because that will help you in building your logic, that will help you in understanding the life cycle of an application. And when you need some platform specific code, that time you will need Flutter and when you will need platform specific code, that time you will need Swift and you will need Kotlin to better application. So these were the many reasons why I shifted to Flutter, and I would suggest you to shift to Flutter too. Thank you guys, and please hit the like button if you have liked this video. Subscribe to my channel, share this video, make sure that everyone comes to know spread the channel. I will be uploading more videos, and together we will grow from this community.